YouTube, JamieTheKid00 here, coming to you guys with one of your most requested deck profiles of the January 2014 format. A lot of you guys, ever since the list was announced, were asking me to build Chaos Dragons, and I didn't have Light Pulsar Dragons to build it. I finally managed to get those in loan off of a friend, so I figured I'd actually throw together a deck profile of something that I've been testing a little bit on Dueling Network, and it's been testing okay. I haven't actually given this any real testing. I'm not a massive fan of Chaos Dragons at the moment. But I figured I may as well actually build it and show it to you guys, show you the build that I'd play, because a lot of you were asking for my interpretation. So with that said, please bear in mind that this is my interpretation, and by no means a very good build. But it is what I would currently play, given the undefined meta and my lacking knowledge in Chaos Dragons. So we're going to start off with our boss monsters, the big interesting bits of the deck. So we play the biggest boss of the deck, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning. Blackluster Soldier, you know how good he is. We're playing a Chaos deck, so why aren't we going to play him? There are so many situations in this deck in which I mill this, and I'm like, oh no, and my opponent is like, yes, BLS is out of the way, I can blow my cards on other things. And then all of a sudden you drop Chaos Sorcerer, because it's now at 2, and a Light Pulsar Dragon, and you Patrol Me M7 this out of the graveyard, and it's ridiculous. And I've done that so many times, it's not even funny. Then, double Chaos Sorcerer. Chaos Sorcerer is at 2. This does up the boss monster count, but I have cut a boss monster instead. I feel that you don't want to play 2 Chaos Sorcerer and then 3 of everything else that you can, so I like the 2 Chaos Sorcerer, but you should cut a boss monster for it, because otherwise your hands are going to be cloggier. For the actual dragons, I play 1 Dark Armed Dragon, because Dark Armed is incredible with this deck because of the way you can search it with Eclipse with him. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, because of his relationship with Light Pulsar Dragon. 3 copies of Light Pulsar Dragon, because it's the staple dragon of the Chaos Dragon deck. When this dies, you can get Red Eyes Darkness Metal back, and then Red Eyes Darkness Metal can get this back, and then, you know, you've got the never-ending cycle. 2 Dark Flare Dragons. I'm not personally a massive fan of Dark Flare Dragon, that is why I've cut it down to 2 to play the 3rd Chaos Sorcerer. Dark Flare Dragon is really useful for your setup, but after that point, I'm really not a massive fan of it. I mean, of course, I like having it engraved for Light Pulsar if I do not have access to a Red Eyes Darkness Metal, but it's really, in my opinion, quite a subpar card. It's just a 2/4 drop that lets you banish something from your opponent's grave, which is kind of, it's alright. It's good for setup, but otherwise I'm not a massive fan. And then I play 1 Eclipse with him, and that rounds off kind of the major dragons. Like, oh yeah, and to talk about reasoning for this, you only play 1 Eclipse with him because it's a compulsory effect and you don't want to reveal your entire deck to your opponent. So you play the 1 Eclipse with him because it's only got 2 targets in the deck. So that's that. For the Light engine, we play 3 copies of Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress. It's our out to back row. 3 copies of Raikou, because it's our out to everything else. 3 copies of White Dragon Y-Burster. This is a new card from Shadow Spectres that I'm testing out. It's kind of like a Reborn Tengu. When this dies, it searches out its black counterpart, and you can special summon it to the field by banishing a Dark Dragon from the graveyard. Moving on to the Dark engine, we do play 3 copies of Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. This is the Black Dragon that twins with Y-Burster, the White Dragon. When White Dragon dies, it searches Black Dragon. When Black Dragon dies, it searches this. It also gets this effect if it's sent, so it gets this effect when it's used as a synchro material. So it's pretty cool like that. And also, they're all special summons. This is special summon by banishing any light from your grave. This is special summon by banishing any dark. So when they die, they search out this, and they're automatically payment fodder for the new one. So they're a pretty nice floater in that sense. And really good as synchro fodder, as I said before. I then play 3 copies of Torguide. Torguide is really, really versatile in this deck because of its access to Leviair, its ability to go into Leviathan Dragon, so you can banish Leviathan Dragon to get Red Eyes out, which I've done a couple of times. And I just really like Torguide in this because it's a dark. It really sets you up quite well. And then the 1 Night Assailant to accompany it. Night Assailant is pretty cool because it actually gets its secondary effect in this deck. When it's sent from your hand to the graveyard, you can add 1 flip effect monster to your hand. So if you send this and a light from your hand to the graveyard to special summon a Light Pulsar Dragon from the grave, you can get this card's effect. So it means that that's less of a minus. So he's a thing. And then for our more kind of general stuff, we play 2 copies of Card Trooper because Card Trooper is incredible in this deck. You need to have milling. You need to be able to set up your grave. 1 Plague Spreader Zombie. 1 Debris Dragon. I'm debating this card. I'm not sure how I feel about Debris at the moment, but it's been alright. Plague has been okay, but Plague is mainly in there to interact with the dragon, the light dark dragons. And then we play a small amount of hand traps. I think 6 hand traps. We play 1 Honest. Finally playing Honest. Double Effect Veiler, because I prefer Effect Veiler in this format. I think it's a much better card this format. Double Tragodia, because Tragodia is nutty. Like, you need to have ways to stop your opponent killing you outright, and then one Gauze. Tragodia is really versatile as well for your Synchro plays in this deck, but Gauze is the big dog. The big dog. So that is our monster lineup. The deck is almost entirely monsters. I believe it's 42 cards, and there are only 5 spells, so that's 37 monsters. For the spells, we have one Dark Hole. There are a lot of things I wanted to put in this deck spell-wise, but there was literally no room. So bear in mind there should be Lances, MSTs, just couldn't find any room. The one Lure of Darkness, one Charge of the Light Brigade, and 2 copies of Solar Recharge. These were the cards I wanted to play because I felt that they all kind of furthered my goals. They all put the deck closer to where it wants to be in an ideal game state. So that's that. That's the entire main deck. So I've been pretty quick about that, but to be fair, I don't really think that Chaos Dragons needs that much explaining. It's mainly like 30 staple cards and then 10 choice cards, in my opinion. For the Synchros, I'm going to go into the extra deck. For the Synchros, we play one Catastor, because you can make 5s occasionally. One Orient Dragon. This was in here because I sideboard Maxis, so Debris Dragon can make this, and it's just a really good out to really awkward Synchros. And it's an out to Beelzebub, or whatever the card is called, the new Dark Dragon thing that can't be destroyed by battle card effects. Black Rose Dragon, because you can nuke the board with Debris Dragon in this deck. Stardust Dragon, it's a dragon, it's really powerful. I like it with Plague Spreader like Pulsar. Same again goes for Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon is of course your offensive card, whereas Stardust is your defensive. So those are the only Synchros I play. There should be a lot more, but I preferred Xyzes in this deck. You'll rarely use your extra deck anyway, but your extra deck is kind of player pref for the plays you prefer to make. And to be honest, I don't miss playing cards like Void Ogre and things like that. I don't really like, because a lot of the time I hold my hand until I have the OTK push, or I have a big push anyway. So Void Ogre Dragon is quite redundant for a lot of my pushes, so yeah, I don't like it. For the Xyzes, we play one Leviathan Dragon, one Leviair, and one Zen Mains. For our 3s, these just keep the Tour Guide versatile. Yes, you can play Giga Brilliant to be an instant light and dark for your Chaos pushes, but I felt that playing using up a spot for Giga Brilliant was going to be wasted. I didn't use it very often. I used it 1 in 10 games. I could go without it. For the 4s, I play one Queen Dragoon Djinn and one Lavalval Chain. Lavalval Chain is for setting up the grave or setting up the top deck. You know, you can set yourself up with a Light Pulsar to top deck or a BLS to top deck. And Queen Dragoon Djinn is just really, really nice for being able to revive a Light Pulsar Dragon. And then when that Light Pulsar Dragon dies, it can get you a Red Eyes Darkness Metal and things like that. She's really protective. When she's out, all your dragons can't die by battle. They have to. Your opponent has to attack this, so it's pretty cool. And then I play a large number of 6s. I play one Photon Strike Bouncer. It's kind of the generic stopper. I'm going to talk about that in a sec. Gauntlet Launcher, because it kills so many things. You bring it out in defense where it's got a 2/8 ass. You kill 2 of your opponent's cards, and then you seize for Gaia Dragoon and run over stuff even more. Constellar Ptolemy M7. M7 is just really versatile. It can add you milled boss monsters out your graveyard, add you BLS, add you Kraos Sorcerer, things like that. So M7 is really cool. Inzektor Exobeetle. My favourite play with Exobeetle is when you go, say, Xyz into this using, if I can find them, Light Pulsar and Chaos Sorcerer, for example. You go Xyz into these 2, and you have a Light Pulsar and a Red Eyes Engrave. This equips Light Pulsar from the grave by its effect. And then you go Effective Exobeetle to kill your Light Pulsar that's attached to it, kill one of your opponent's cards. That Light Pulsar will then activate and get you your Red Eyes out of the grave. So your Red Eyes comes back, and then you go Red Eyes Effect, Light Pulsar, and then you Xyz for Gaia, which is another card to play, and then you've got a crazy field already. And then if they Dark Hole it, this still comes back. This still comes back, and it's just crazy. And if you get Mirror Force, this will still come back, and you can go main phase 2, summon this, and it's just really, really nice plays. And yeah, the last card in the extra deck I do play is the Gaia. So yeah, guys, this has been. I'm just going to use those for the actual ending picture now. This has been a Chaos Dragon deck profile. It's been one of my quicker videos. It's only going to be about 10 minutes long, but it's been about all I needed to say. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. it's a deck that's definitely not a bad deck, this format. I'm just not personally a big fan of it. I'm really enjoying plants at the moment, but I guess you guys can have some fun with it. I hope this has been what you've been looking for. I hope you've been satisfied by a Chaos Dragon deck profile that you've been asking for about a month now. And I'll see you guys pretty soon with some more Yu-Gi-Oh related content. This is me, Jamie the Kid 00. Peace out. Bye.